Hey guys, Aaron here. Today we're going to be replacing the outer tie rods on this Chevy Silverado. Now if you have a GMC Sierra or a GMC Yukon, a Chevy Tahoe, Chevy Suburban, or a Cadillac Escalade years 2014 through 2018, these procedures and parts will be the same exact as well. Now this is a 2014 Chevy Silverado LT with about 140,000 miles. Now what we're experiencing here is a little bit of play in the outer tie rod, and it's actually causing some noise on the driver's side. We're going to go ahead and do both. I'm going to show you the driver, but before we begin, let's go ahead and start with the tools necessary to get the job done right. Alright, so we're going to need a 13/16 socket. We're going to need a 15/16 open end wrench. We need a metal mallet, some needle nose pliers, and of course our brand new tie rod. Now I went ahead and got a Moog tie rod. These are really good quality. If you have access to an OEM tie rod, they're just as good. Try not to cheap out, especially if you have oversized tires or a lift on your vehicle. These tie rods really can see a lot of stress, so try to go ahead and get a good one. I will post a link in the description of where you can buy this for a good price. Now if you have a four-wheel drive, it's the same as a two-wheel drive, and luckily the left side is the same part as the right side. And of course a grease gun. We're going to go ahead and grease this tie rod once we install it. It comes with a grease zerk, so you can go ahead and service it every oil change. Just put a little bit of grease in there, that way it stays nice and lubed up. And of course, the most important part is going to be the alignment afterwards. Go ahead and set yourself an appointment to get your vehicle aligned. Anytime you replace any part of the suspension or steering, it's always good to at least have the alignment checked. You never want to assume it's correct. I'm going to show you a way to get the alignment close. That way you can drive it to the alignment shop knowing it is kind of close, and they can correct it from there. So just a side note, go ahead and get yourself an alignment after you do this procedure. Now the first thing we're going to do is jack up the vehicle using a properly rated jack and jack stand, and take off the tire to gain access to the tie rod, which is located right here. We are on the driver's side, and what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up this nut, this little jam nut that holds the inner tie rod to the outer tie rod and keeps proper tension in between them. We're going to use our 15/16 open end wrench, and we're just going to turn it a quarter of a turn. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to keep proper depth. When we remove this tie rod and install the new one, we're not going to install it too deep or too shallow on the inner tie rod, which is going to cause our toe to go out really far. So let's go ahead and just give this a quarter turn, and then we're going to take our 13/16 socket and remove the nut on the bottom of the tie rod itself. Once that's loose, go ahead and take your mallet and just hit the bottom of the tie rod, which will pop it free from the steering knuckle. Now once the tie rod is broken loose from the knuckle, go ahead and just take it off. Allow the rotor just to swing out of the way and turn to the left, and your tie rod should unscrew fairly easy. If you do have trouble turning it, there is a little bit of slot in between the middle of the inner tie rod. You can put a wrench in there and keep the inner from turning so you can remove it. Now just simply install the new one to the depth of the jam nut. Once you feel it get tight, just back it off a quarter turn, and we're ready to install this back into our spindle. So take our jam nut on and tighten it all the way. You definitely don't want to be driving when that nut is loose. Now the last thing to do is to install the cotter key into our new tie rod. Make sure you bend it over just to keep the key or the nut from turning. And then of course grease our new grease zerk. Go ahead and give, I don't know, 3 or 4 pumps of grease in there, and that should be good for a while. So the last step is to drive your truck down to an alignment shop, get it aligned and perfected. And that pretty much wraps it up, guys. I hope this video has helped you out, maybe saved you a little bit of time and money. If it has, please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you've got any questions or comments, feel free to leave something in the comment section, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.